Okay, so we're live. Good afternoon, everyone watching us and those that will join us later. My name is Bumi Bossade, and we're here with another exciting discussion topic around skilled traits. And as well, we have our always willing speaker. Uh, she's always there for us. She never says no, even when it's not convenient. So thank you so much, Ma, for joining us today. I would ask that she introduce herself. Good afternoon, Ma.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, Ms. Bossetti. Thank you for having me once again. I not taking this for granted. It's a privilege to be back here. My name is Banke Kunle Oladoshu, and I've been with the Peel District School Board for about 16 years. I'm currently serving as a guidance counselor in elementary panel. And I've worked in different capacities. I've been a classroom teacher. I've been a special education content teacher, in fact, for 5 years. I've been an ESL teacher, English, teaching English language to newcomers. I've been a special education teacher, like an in-school support teacher, and so I've been in various roles with the board, and I'm grateful and thankful for that. I'm also currently the vice president of the Nigerian Canadian Teachers Association right now, a platform where we promote Black excellence, Black brilliance. We award scholarships. We support STEAM education for our Black students. And I'm still learning. I always say that I'm still learning, and I want to continue to learn and want to continue to make that and give back to my community. So thank you for having me, and I'm very grateful.
Thank you so much, Ma, for being here. I always say you have an excellent experience in the educational field here in Canada. So it's an honor to have you uh, on one of our sessions at LSI. And thank you for always supporting and also sharing our vision at LSI. Let's go straight to it. Today, we're talking about skilled trades. I know a lot of people have, what I've been wondering what exactly skilled trades. Why
Mm,
do we have this taught or introduced in schools, sometimes
mhm,
as early as elementary schools,
mhm,
sometimes high school? Why should my child consider this? What is the
mhm,
benefit? Is it an option for us, particularly those of us from the African community? We
mhm.
have this myth and belief, that either the university or no way. So let's start with probably enlightening us exactly about what skilled trades are.
Okay. So skill traits are a wide range of occupations that require specialized training, specialized knowledge and skills, and sometimes manual work. And we can acquire that specialized training in what we know as a vocation school or a technical college. Um, or even through a vocation school, technical college, or a specialized space where they would teach you those hands-on skills. And it is a wide range, like I said. In Canada, it is categorized into four main domains. So we have the industrial skill trades, we have the construction skill trades, we have the service skill trades, and then we have the motive skill trades. And under the industrial some examples of the industrial skill trades will be things like the cabinet maker, the general machinist, the metal fabricator, the optics technician, people who do our lenses, the lenses of the glasses that we wear, um, a mold maker, a dye designer, an electrician, an power. So those are examples of things or services or the type of occupation we will find in the industrial sector of skilled trades. In the construction, that is very simple and straightforward, is the construction industry. So we have the cement, the concrete pump operator, the general carpenter, the heavy equipment operator. We have the precast concrete operator. We have the people who do the tile and the marble in our homes, the heat and frost insulator. So the drywall. So construction is that, all of that, they belong to all of that domain. Then we have the service domain, which is like the hospitality. We have like the baker, the hairstylist, the cloth maker. We have the special event coordinator. We have the chef. We have the agriculture. We have horse groom, people who groom horses and all of those type of things. And then we have the motive domain, and examples of services or trades that belong to the motive industry is really very straightforward. It's like the mechanic, the automobile people. When your car breaks down, the mechanic, they fix your car. So the automotive service technician, the heavy duty equipment technician, the truck transportation, you want to do the auto body repair, they belong to that motive industry. And it's a lot of them. We have over 100 occupations belonging to these various domains. I would encourage individuals who are interested in the skill trades to go onto apprenticesearch.com, and you would find a list of all of the trades program that belong to each of this category or each of this domain. But it's very wide. It's a lot of them. And I have to say as well that some of these services or some of these skill trades program, there's something they call the Red Seal, which means that it allows you to practice in Canada. Some of them would restrict you in a province. So if you're able to do the certification and you get the Red Seal, then you can practice interprovincial. You can provide your services interprovincial. So you have to go identify what you're good at, and then you can take it up from there. But that is also an option for you if you want to practice anywhere within Canada, because some of them do have limitations. And the Red Seal, like I said, you still have to do a certification exam or a license exam to get the Red Seal on your license. So it's a very broad domain. It's very, it's not less prestigious. So I always encourage students, families, depending on the interest and the passion of your child, to explore that pathway if you think that pathway kind of matches the portrait of your child, because you know your child best. So you have to figure out and see, oh, maybe my child will be good in this, maybe my child will be good in that. So that's what skill trade is all about in a nutshell.
Wow. I didn't know it was that broad. I was in my head, I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking, maybe 4 or 5 skills that had, same kind of patterns and all that. That it's broad. And it's good that we're having this information, because I'm sure, especially within my community, are not aware how versed the skilled trades are in itself. You mentioned something, and we're going to talk about it anyway. And since you've mentioned it, I think it's a good time to probably ask that question. You talked about it not being less prestigious. I know that a lot of us within the community, and I talk about my community, my Nigerian community, my African community, we have this myth and this, stereotype with when it has to do with skilled trades and having our kids, go that pathway. Can you tell us a little bit more? When you say it's not less prestigious, what exactly, do you mean?
Okay, so when I say it's not less prestigious, we have to remember that skilled trades is also an occupation. People thrive in that industry. I know we like our kids to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, and all of those type of very formal profession. But we have to have houses, and they need plumbers, they need electricians in their house. And I can give you a quick example. Now, a couple of years back, our refrigerator stopped working, and I didn't know what to do. I was home alone, and I went online, I was able to get somebody, and then he came. He didn't fix the problem. He told me what was wrong with the fridge, and he said, my fridge is still under warranty. Go online, order this part, and then once you receive the part, come back and I can come back and fix it for you. So, and I thought that was it. And he said, you have to pay me $100. I said, but you didn't fix the fridge. You only told me what the problem was with the fridge. He said, yeah, but that's usually there's another charge for fixing the fridge. So what am I trying to say here? There are jobs in demand. We should not forget that skilled trades are job in demand. Doctors, engineers, and lawyers, they're going to need electricians. They're going to need plumbers. They're going to need people who do drywall. They're going to need people who do mechanic, because almost everybody has a car. Young adults have cars. We're going to need all of these people in the industry, and they're well-paying jobs. So when I say it's not a less prestigious job or occupation, I mean they're well paid, very well paid. We have to continue to dispel and address the misconceptions about skilled trades. It is not less prestigious as somebody who is a lawyer. This category of people just work best with their hands. They're very hands-on. They're not a book person, because we all learn differently. They learn by doing. So because they are blessed, and that is an area of strength for them, they're able to utilize their hands and get things done. I just changed my snow tires a couple of weeks ago. I had to pay close to $100 to change my tires, and I'm going to go back and rechange it again in April. They make money. It's a well-paying industry, and it's not less prestigious at all.
Thank you so much for that explanation. We needed to put that out there. Now, I know that you work as a guidance counselor. You work with children, various kids at various levels. As a guidance counselor, does it come to a point where you recommend a child to consider having to go into skilled trades? And if it's a yes, what actually would lead to those kind of recommendation?
Okay, so as a guidance counselor with the Peel District School Board, I'm not allowed to recommend a specific pathway to parents. And I would not typically do that. But my job as a guidance counselor is to showcase and share information about all the pathways we have. Because I always say every pathway, a child's portrait will fit into that pathway. Not everybody will be in the regional program. Not everybody will be in a regular program, an academic pathway. Some kids, like I mentioned earlier on, they are very good with their hands. You give them maybe a small machine that comes in a box, or even a fan that comes in a box. You receive a package, you order a fan, a box of fan, and you receive that box, and you give it to this kid, and they just open the manual, and they're able to assemble the fan for you. That should tell you right there that this child, wow, is very good by doing. They learn by doing. So every child has their own strength and their own skills. So to answer your question, I don't make recommendations for students. I only share all of the information, and I try to dispel or address the misconceptions about all of the pathways. And what I also do is, particularly when it comes to skilled trades, I tell parents that the jobs are in demand. Whether we have economic fluctuations in the country, whether there's high interest or inflation, construction workers, service workers, people in transportation industry, they are in demand. So I always encourage parents, and I share all of the advantages and the benefits that is attached to that pathways. They have a job security. They have people who thrive in this industry. They have a sense of accomplishment because They learn by doing. They enjoy creating things. They enjoy building things. They enjoy designing and putting things together. And also, it's not a 4-year program. It's usually less, it's shorter compared to the university pathway. And in fact, I tell parents, by the time your child finishes training in that vocation school, they're not owing. They're not owing. There's no student loan. Because if you go online on Skilled Trades or Government of Canada website, there are a lot of grants and scholarship for skilled trades for students who are interested in skilled trades. So I share all of the benefits that comes with all of the pathways that we have, but I cannot make recommendation, and I always push it back to the parents because again, they know their kids more than we do. So it is all of these options that I share with them, and they have to go, and I encourage them to have the conversation with their child. Talk to your child. You've observed your child from birth up until this stage. What does the child want to do? So they ask me, "Oh, what would you recommend?" I'm not going to be the one to recommend anything for your child. You know your child. What does he want to do? That's how I go back to them. So, but again, like I said, my job is to highlight all of the advantages that comes with all of the pathways, and then they have to decide as families and as individuals. And I encourage them all the way to make that transition as seamless as possible.
Thank you so much. I like the fact that, like we always say in all of our session, a parent being inclusive of the child's whole system of learning is very important. So it's interesting, and I'm excited to hear that decisions like that are left for the parents to decide to make when it comes to, because you know your child, you live with your child, you're able to see the pros and cons of this child, so you should be able to decide also based on consulting with your child what the best pathway would be for the child. Now,
Exactly.
I know that you've mentioned that you have this conversation with children. At what stage, at what point do you begin to have this kind of conversation? Elementary school, high school, when exactly things like this discussed with parents?
So it's always advisable to start early. I would typically recommend starting early, and even as a school, I know at my school, and it might be different. Maybe it might vary from province to province or school board to school board. But I know for my school, for example, we start to expose students to that pathway in the elementary when they're in the elementary stages. So we have what we call the STARK program, where we expose students to woodwork. We expose them to handling machines and tools and equipment and all of that. So the exposure starts in elementary. We start to have that conversation in elementary, which is in their intermediate years. So I would say maybe you can start maybe junior, I would say grade 6. So grade 6, grade 7. By grade 8 is when the transition needs to happen. Okay. So when you're going to high school, so for example, if a child decides to say, okay, I want to do mechanical, I want to go into transportation, the transition begins in grade 9. So from grade 8 to grade 9. So I would be the one to facilitate that transition. But the child would have been exposed to the basic or foundational skills required in that field. So I'm not saying we'll be doing anything transportation related. No, we don't in elementary, but we'll be exposing them to tools, equipment. We're sharing information about all of these pathways with them, so that when they are transitioning to grade 9, they know. And most of the time too, we take a trip to some of these colleges. So we take a trip to these colleges. We take a trip to the high school that offers skilled trades.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So, do we have specific high schools that offer skilled trade programs, or it's every of the high school within the Ontario educational system would usually offer these programs, or they have to go to specific schools if or when they show interest of going into the skilled trade pathway?
I can speak about the board that I work for. We have a high school, a dedicated high school that is, they just, all they do is skill trades. So they offer transportation, they offer construction, they offer interlocking, they offer electrician, they offer they provide service, they teach kids on how to be certified as an electrician. So they have, the board that I work for has specific high schools, one in the north and one in the south, that offers skill trades program for students. So you can't just go to any school to be trained. But I know that some high schools also have electives that you can take. So if, for example, if you want to take an elective in hairstyling, that is available as an option, but you will not get the certification that would you be considered as a skilled trade specialist. I don't know if that's confusing.
Yes.
Okay. So
no. I think it's very. Go ahead, Ma, if you're not done.
Okay, so I was going to say that the board that I work for has specific high schools dedicated to skilled trades training and certification. However, some high schools also offer some of those trades as an elective that students can take. However, you will not be certified in that program. You're only taking it as an elective. So if you want to go into skilled trades, you have to go specifically to those vocation school, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yes, it does. Thank you so much. And my next question is, so if, let's assume a child comes out and say, I want to go the pathway of the skilled trades, and as the child enters into high school, the child begins to go through that pathway. Does it imply that when the child is done high school, the child is job ready, or the child will still need to go through a vocational school to further study whatever pathway in the skilled trade that the child decides to go?
So there are two ways to that question. To answer your question, when they finish high school and they want to go to the workplace, they're prepared for workplace. However, they're not certified.
Okay.
They still need to go to a skilled trade school. There's one in Vaughan very close to me. They would still need to go to that school to go through the apprenticeship program or pre-apprenticeship program. So the first thing is high school. You go, have a general knowledge, your hands-on and all of that. They teach you get your diploma and all of those type of things. Yes, you can work with that. However, it is advisable for you to go into the pre-apprenticeship program and the apprenticeship program, and that's when you do your certification and all of that, because the more you are experienced, the more the money, and you can become what we call in Nigeria journeyman and all of those type of things. So the more the knowledge, the more the money. So yes, you can be ready for workplace when you leave high school, but it's advisable that you go into the apprenticeship program so you can acquire more knowledge, get the certification, and it gives you more money.
Thank you so much for explaining that. And just to buttress what you've just said, I know that the high school my son currently attend, they do have a program for the skill trade that is affiliated with a particular college in Ontario, particularly in Hamilton, Ontario, where when you're done, they work hand in hand with this college. So when you're done high school, you get 2 certificates. You get one as your high school diploma certificate, and you also get one from that college. So you are getting 2 certification in a particular skilled trade and also your high school diploma. So it kind of also confirm what you've said, and that kind of helps you, get ready for going into the job market straight on. So yes. And just to also say that based on the discussion we've had so far today, it is important that we as parents, we identify the niche of our children as early as elementary school. So we're able to help them further the pathway as soon as possible. Because I've seen situations where sometimes as African parents, we force our children towards a particular pathway. And then when the kids get to high school, they realize that they cannot handle, the pressure of the high school academical pathway. And at that time, they're now considering if the child should go through the skilled trade pathway. But at that time, it would have really, I wouldn't say too late. It is never too late, but you would have been able to help the child younger if as a parent involved. And
Absolutely.
that would bring to my next question, that as parents, we can be busy with life. How do we identify skills and traits in our children that kind of help us determine or observe that this child has tendency to go the pathway of skilled traits?
So, as a parent, we have to observe our kids. We have to know what they like to do, what comes to them without stress, what comes to them naturally. If a child can put things together quickly without even, I've had kids in my class where they're like, Miss, you just need to do this, do this, do this. And within 1 minute, they put everything together. So if you have a kid like that, you want to encourage that strength. You want to encourage that interest and passion in that kid. So in answering your question, I would say observe the child. And in your observation, I would say to highlight that child's strengths. Does my child like to put things together? Does my child like to create things? Does my child like to build things? Does my child like to design things? And if you see all of those traits in your child, I would say to encourage and build on that. I don't know how many of us know that Home Depot has workshops for students who are interested in trades. They have mini workshops. I don't know if it's for free. I don't know if you have to pay a token, but it's something you can research to encourage your child to attend those type of workshops, because you have the tools in front of you. They put all of the tools and they ask you to build something depending on your area of interest. I would encourage parents to explore that as well. If you think that is what you're thinking for your child, or even online resources, educational resources online. I'm a fan of HGTV, the Home and Garden TV. I love when they do the house. They're building houses. They're looking at a space and they're trying to figure out what to put on all of those spaces. For some kids, it comes naturally to them. They're able to do, oh, I see this space. Out of this space, I can make this, I can build this, I can design things. And that's what they do in video games. I don't know if most of us know that. In Minecraft, all they're doing is building. They're building and they're designing. So if kids are building, they're constructing, they're designing, that means your child was probably like someone who is very hands-on. Kids, kids who are hands-on, kids who don't like paper and pencil. When you give them paper and pencil to write, what they give you, you will know that this is my child is not a paper and pencil person. But give the child tools, a set of tools. What the child will come up with, you'll be surprised, because that's an area of strength for the child. So you have to observe your child, know who your child is, and then foster and build upon the strength of your child. Attend career exploration workshops. I think that's how I would answer that question.
Thank you so much. I think you did answer it awesomely. So yes, I 100% agree with you. My last question before we let you go is, when does school, you've mentioned several times today that when your child has interest in building things with their hands, they're very quick to things like that, construction, putting things together. In a situation where the school, let's assume a teacher or a guidance counselor notices this trait in a child, does the school communicate that to the parent in any way? I know we get sometimes midterm report
Yes.
cards and all that. Does the school put this on just to let the parent know and kind of call the attention of the parent to this particular traits? Because I know sometimes when kids are doing excellently well, we get the school inform parents, oh, your child is very good with this. Maybe the child should write a special program. There's this program that my daughter and my son too wrote at a particular time when they were in, I think it was an elementary school, and they said they wanted to grade their whatever, and I think they wrote it about twice, aside from the normal EQAO that they do, right? So does the school system identify this and probably also bring it to the attention of parents?
Yeah, the school does identify these traits in students, but not like a formal identification, like if your kid is gifted and all of that. It's not a formal identification, but they do acknowledge, and the school acknowledges, and they do share with parents. I do that all the time. Whenever I see kids thriving, I tap on their expertise. I take advantage of them. Can you come and show me this, Mrs. K? I need. Can you come? I need your help, because these kids are good. We learn from them. We're not keepers of knowledge as teachers. I learn from my students. So yes, the school does share information about students' strengths. It could even be in form of the report cards, when report cards are going home, or even a phone call to parents, and we share all of the excellent things, amazing things that these kids do at school. When I was in the contained class, I remember very well that the students in my school, in my class, if they put things together, all the other teachers are like, your kids did this? I'm like, yes, they're very good with their hands. They were able to build a clock. They were able to build a bench. They were able to do great ideas. And all of these ideas was not coming from the teachers. It was coming from them. And at the end of when we have open house, we would showcase all of this to parents so that they see that this is what their kids are doing. So yes, the school shares information about this with parents, but it might not be in a formal way. And it could be in report cards, because you can highlight all of those strengths on the report card. So yes, but it's not a formal exam like the gifted process and all of that. So I don't know if I answered that question.
Yeah, you
correct.
did. You did. You did. You did. And I just wanted to quickly also chip in that I've always said this regularly on our programs. As parents, I know we're busy. We are doing so much to provide for a family, but don't let the school visit happen only when you have issues in regards to your children with the school. Make
Absolutely.
your make sure you are involved, because the minute you get involved with your teacher, just once in a while, just stroll in. You don't have the time to stroll in. Do an email. Let your child's teacher know you. So you're just doing an email. Oh, I'm just checking in. Hope everything is good. Hope my child is doing well. Is there anything you want me to be aware of? Is there anything you want me to know? Is there anything you want us to work on, or anything you want us to help this child grow in or perfect? And I'm sure if you have that kind of relationship with your school, your child's school or teacher,
Absolutely.
conversation like this would naturally come up.
Absolutely.
Conversation like this would come up. They would say, "Oh, we noticed that Bumi is good with her hands. She built this week. It was amazing. We're all surprised. We're all maybe you should consider, getting her something in this area." So that is very, very important for us as parents to be cognizant of. I have a question here. I'm sure I've read through this question, and it does not fit into what we do, but I'm just going to read it. There's a question here from Chido K that says, can one in Nigeria apply for skilled trade in Canada? I believe there should be a pathway, but I'm not sure what that pathway is. Our session today is directed to Canadians, and particularly a student within the Ontario educational system. So I'm not sure what you would need to do, but probably you can do your research and find out if there is a pathway for people from outside Canada to take advantage of the skilled trade pathway as well.
Yeah,
Thank you so
there'll
much.
be many layers to that, because you would need the student visa. There'll be a lot of layers. So, like you said, do your own personal research. Reach out to the school board. Ask questions. Go online to their website. All the boards, like most school boards, all school boards have a website. So go to their website and ask those questions and call them. They might be able to answer your questions in terms of signing or registering or getting admission into a skilled trades program from Nigeria, in Ontario, or any part of Canada. And just one thing that I would like to add to the comment you made earlier on, as parents, I want to leave this last conversation with us to say that the schools are looking into partnering with parents. The school doesn't have all the answers. They need to we're looking for ways we can collaborate with parents so that our students can thrive and be successful. They want to develop that partnership with parents, all because the kid is at the center of what we do. So we're looking for ways to partner with kids. So like Ms. Bosede said, reach out to the school, reach out and ask clarifying questions. And that's why we're there for you. So that's what I would say.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for having me.
For always being there. We're bringing you back in sometime early next year because I want us to talk about the regional learning program.
Oh.
I want us to talk about the regional learning program. And the reason why I say this is because my son was part of that program. And I know both of your children were a part of that program as well. And to my surprise, when we went for the information session at the time, my son got in. I counted. I'm sorry, but I did. I think this information center was somewhere in Mississauga. I think it was Mississauga Convention Center, and we had about 5 blacks, like 5 black parents. The hall was full. The pathway outside the hall was full, and there were parents outside. If I'm not exaggerating, we had about 1,000 parents present for that information session, and I could only count 5 black parents, and I knew there was a problem. And at that time, I remember that the next year I was just so upset. I'm like, why are we not taking advantage of such an incredible program? And I did a 5-minute video and I was sending it to all the WhatsApp group. Immediately it came out that year. I just did I think this was like 5-6 years ago. I just did a 5-minute video and I'm like, go for the information session. Nigerians, what are you guys doing? And I remember I did that and I was just blasting it everywhere that year. So there are an amazing amount of information there that our kids should take advantage of, that we are not taking advantage of. And this regional learning program is another amazing program that we're missing out on. So we're going to come back sometimes at the beginning of next year to talk about this. And I know if I reach out to you, you won't say no as usual.
I would. Thank you so much. I would. Thank you for having me. Yes. Yeah. It's all about information sharing. Information sharing.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for everyone that joined us today. We're grateful. Please share the video. We come on YouTube because we know that we're all busy and sometimes people are not able to join us live, but they can always have access to the video later on. I know some of you watching or that would watch later know me. So if you have questions that you want Mrs. Banke Kunle Oladosu to answer, let me know. I would get a permission, and if it's required, link you up or ask the question on your behalf. Thank you so much, Ma, once again, for always being there and answering to our call. We appreciate you at LSI. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. And thank you, Ma. Have a wonderful day as well. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.